Hello there, everyone. Welcome to another Make It With Me Monday. I'm happy to be here with you guys. It's kind of a gloomy, overcast, drizzly day where I am, so if any of you have sunshine, yay! And maybe send it back our direction. I do appreciate the lower temps, but the overcast sky makes me miss sunshine a little bit. All right, if you are following my Facebook page, you probably saw several posts today about this Perfect Partners special that's going on this month. They took, I believe it's six stamp sets that are in either the annual or the mini catalog, and they added a set of dies to match. So just for this month of September, you can order, if you've already had the stamp set, you can order the dies to match. If you don't already have it, you can order the bundle. Hey, Kathy Jo, good to see you tonight. So you can grab the bundle if you don't already have what those are. And so that was, I did separate posts for each of them. You can see a little more close up on the Facebook page then. So there's apple blossoms, the fresh cut stems, this birthday piggy, trimming the tree, waterfalls, and the Yeti to party. So like I said, some of these are in the mini catalog. Hi, Kathy, good to see you tonight. Some of these are in the mini, some of these are in the annual. They're all if you look on my Facebook page, you'll find the links to find those in the store if you want a little bit better look at them. I picked up a couple of them and I'm gonna be using them on camera and in my extra samples tonight. And like I said, if you already have the stamps, now you can add the dies. And if you don't, then you can grab the bundle at the discounted bundle price. Alrighty. Sounds like I forgot to turn off my notification sound, so I apologize if anything else comes through. Okay, so here is what we need for tonight. I gave you a little hint ahead of time. We're going to be making a gift card holder. So you're going to start with a piece of cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 11, and you needed to score it at 5 1/2, and then again at 9. Okay, and then you want 3 pieces of neutral cardstock. I'm going to be using basic white. We have one piece that's going to have our phrase on it. That's 1/2 inch by 2. You're going to have a neutral piece that is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And this one you're going to want to decorate up with your image or images. And then a piece that's 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to cover the whole inside of our card. And then the second piece of cardstock that's 2 3/8 by 3 5/8. Sorry about that. And then a piece of designer series paper that is 3 1/4 by 4. Alrighty. So let's go ahead and get started on our stamping of this. And if you guys need to catch up as I go, that's totally fine. I have a lot of extra stuff to show you tonight. So don't worry if you're right along with me or not. You'll be catching up by the time we're all done. Oh, and then the other thing to have nearby is some kind of punch that you can use to make the notch for the inside where the cards will slide in and out. So that could be some kind of circle, some kind of oval, any other shape that you can just use a little bit of, something to just take a little nick out of the paper so that your fingers can do that easier. Okay, so grab your bone folder, and that 5 1/2 mark you're going to score, or give a little burnish the normal way. At that 9 inch mark, we're going to be folding that back. So let's give that to the inside. Sorry, I had that backwards on my camera. So that's going to become the inside flap now, and this is going to be eventually where our gift card's going to get held. Okay? So the first thing we can do is put that neutral piece on the inside, and you can decide later how, or if you want to not do that yet and you want to decide later how you're going to decorate yours up, that's totally fine. I'm actually not going to add anything to mine at this point, so I'm just going to show you how it's going to look as a finished piece. Alrighty, your designer series paper is going to cover the large area on the front. So let's go ahead and add that. And it should be framed pretty nicely, bordered, with that cut mark there. Alrighty, now you're going to want to take your piece that's going to be basically like your focal point. So it's your neutral piece that's 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And let's go ahead and decorate that up however you were doing that for your gift card holder. Mine's going to be a Christmas one. I'm using the trimming the tree that I showed you guys earlier. There's lots involved in this stamp set, and then now with the matching dies, it makes it really fun. So there's a large tree shape, and this one will fill in some of the white space that's left behind by this one. You've got this piece here that kind of represents a garland going across. You can stamp that over. Several great phrases. This one's really nice because it's kind of like an inside and an outside verse, like that. You've got little tiny ornaments, stars and bows that can decorate your tree, other kinds of swag that can decorate your tree. And then the little pot that will be sitting in. Okay, so this one's really nice, and it's photopolymer. So when you're lining those up to attach overhead, you can see really, really nicely where they're all going to go. And oh my gosh, guys, look at this die collection. Wow. Okay, so the big one outline that will die cut the tree itself. These two add a little bit of pop-up. I'll show you one of the samples. You've got almost doubles of all the little stuff. So when you're cutting out decorations for it, you're gonna get doubles. It's awesome. Ornaments, bows. These will cut out the ones that you would stamp. The star, same thing. You've got three different types of baskets or pots or whatever you want to call it that they would be sitting in. These two shapes, these three shapes, I should say, fit all of the phrases. So they make really great label shapes. This one is really, 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 really fun. And I love the fact that they added so much extra into the die set for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to take my large tree image and my evening evergreen ink, and I'm going to go ahead and make my big tree just in the middle of this right here. There we go. And then I'm going to close up my ink pad because otherwise I know I'll stick my fingers in it. I'm going to go ahead and take my soft succulent. Those two colors together are really, really nice shades of green that play against each other really nicely. And they're currently in colors that are on their way out. And I'm actually secretly hoping that we get a color refresh next year and they keep them because I love, 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 love them. Okay, so because that's photopolymer, you can see I was able to line that up. It's not going to cover up all the white space, but it does a little bit. Hi, Aunt Mary, good to see you tonight. So now that I have just a little hint of that lighter color within my white space, and hopefully that's showing up. I know it's kind of hard to see on camera, but you'll see it in the pictures that I post later for sure. Sometimes photography captures that a little bit better than video does. Okay, once you have your focal point image done, you're going to layer that onto your second piece of cardstock, just like so. And you can decide at this point, if you know you're going to be mailing it, you might want to use less dimension. If you're not and you're just handing it off to someone, have all the dimension that you like. So for this one, I'm just going to put that directly onto the card. You could use dimensionals, raise it up just a little bit if you'd like. Okay, so there's my image. It's going to go right in the middle of that square that we have on the front. Okay, and then this little piece for your phrase, a little bit of adhesive there. I'm going to be using Cherry Cobbler for my ink, and it just says peace and joy. And excuse my head if it gets in the way because I want to make sure I get this centered for the most part. Oop, not too bad. Alrighty. Then you can decide where you would like this to go. I want mine to be straight across the tree. So as you play with these, you know, sometimes you might want to have it hanging off an edge. You could have it at the bottom of something, at the top of something. Just depends on what you've put into that square right there. And I'm going to go ahead and just run some adhesive on that. And my peace and joy is just going to go right across the front of the tree. Okay, now because I know I was going to mail this one, everything's pretty flat, pretty easy to use. I would decorate this up probably a little more with maybe some gems, some dimensions, something like that. But I like to keep the basics of it pretty simple. Okay, so let's go to that inside flap, and you're going to grab your punch, whatever you've used that you're going to make your little notch, and just insert that so you're about even left to right. And you're just taking off enough to kind of get your fingers in. So like with mine, it's just going to be just a little bit. And I think I need to come over this way a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now I have just a little piece notched out. I'm going to be using, hey Tammy, good to see you tonight. I'm going to be using just a little bit of my liquid glue. You could also use just your regular adhesive. I just want to make sure that this stays down really nicely. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And just hold that there for a second and let that adhere. Okay. And like I said, that is the little pocket that your gift card holder is going to fit in. And if I was smart, I would have brought a gift card over to show you. So just pretend this piece of paper is your gift card. So it's just going to tuck right in there. Okay. So I will leave this up here so you guys can kind of see where I was going with that. And I will show you some of the other samples I did with this particular bundle, the tree trimmings. I used the label shapes here. This is another punch, the decorative circle, I believe it is. But the label itself, this shape is in the die set. I added some stars that I stamped in I believe it's curry because that was kind of close. Gives me the same gold tone that I got out of this paper here. And this is the metallic paper. It's a 6x6, and you get 3 different colors. You get black with silver, evergreen with gold, and pumpkin with, I can't remember the other color, but that's your metallic-y collection, okay? And that's in the mini catalog. This one here, you can see I stamped and die cut some of the ornaments. I did the tree just straight on, tone on tone, so it's green on green, and then I cut it out with the punch, and I also added a little embossing to that layer to make that pop out. And very similarly to this one, here's a little stepped up version number 1. I have another one to show you as well. I did add a phrase to this side. I used the die cuts to create the basket or the tub, whatever you want to call that thing that it's sitting in. I did the little bows and I did the star. And again, I don't know if this is going to show up really nicely on camera, but those other dies I pointed out to you, they give a little bit of pop out in certain areas of this tree. So as you're looking at that now, it's got some dimension and texture, and you can take your pick tool or your scissor or something and just give those guys a little bit of a lift. And again, it's kind of going to be hard to see on camera. There they go. So just a little bit of dimension that's really fun to play with. I also added an extra panel of designer series paper into the inside of that. Same notch, same everything. I just added a little bit more interest there. Okay, so stepped up version number 2. I kept this dimension the same. So as you can see here, I used a different piece of cardstock to balance that out. I used my deckled rectangle dies, and I did the 2 layers there. I did die cut out the basic one here, and I used a different label shape to do peace and joy. And I think, again, I did that piece right there. I added another tree inside, and this time I die cut the little garland type thing, and I used that across the tree and another star on top. So I really liked, especially I think I pointed that out to you guys, I really liked that they did multiple dies for some of those little details so that you can run through 5 stars at a time, 6 bows at a time, 6 ornaments at a time. Really cuts down on your cranking time with your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So that's really cool. All right, set those guys aside, get these off. All right, let me show you a couple more samples with ones I did with some other bundles that are available. So here are the pigs. So you've got this birthday piggy. He's got a couple of images, some phrases, and all about birthdays, obviously. And then the die cuts too. Here again, you've got some that are going to die cut out just the shapes of the piggies. Then you have additions. You've got grass and a wagon and label and extra flowers, and there's a bird and leaves and bows. So you could dress them up. They've got like bows and neckerchiefs. Again, some of these are in multiples, so you can do them, run through a couple at a time. And I think these are supposed to be the wheels of the wagon. So you could fill that in with another color. So we would like a red wagon with brown wheels or gray wheels or something like that. So that is the birthday piggy. So I used him, I die cut the little banner. And here again, you can see I did the phrase off to the side because I didn't really want to take away from my image there. And then again, my image inside is fairly plain, but I did add this little strip of designer series paper over into this blank area just to give it a little bit more something. And it's pretty colorful. I love that Tahitian tide color. It's really fun to play with. All right, what other one did I use? I also got Waterfall Cannon. This is really good for you guys who like to do artistic scenery with our stamping. So this one, it's going to look a little overwhelming when you see it. There are lots of pieces to this. Again, some of them are duplicates, so you can do sets of a couple different trees at a time, different flower bundles, all that kind of jazz. So don't get too overwhelmed by the look of that. But this stamp set is designed to create scenes. So here we've got our mountain type scene. I cut out some of the grass and the flowers and a little bit of tree line. Again, I tucked my phrase behind. And then on the inside is where I've got the full scene. So here's your full waterfall, along with some die cut trees. I die cut the waterfall. Everything else is stamped directly onto the cardstock. And then I cut out the bridge. And then I did add a little strip of designer series paper here as well. Okay. And I wanted to show you guys, when I mentioned it on the Facebook page today, I said this is one of our stamp sets that's reversible. And if you're not familiar with what that is, basically you're going to be using both sides of the stamp to create the full image. So one side is going to have all the detail like you're used to seeing. The other side, of course, is just plain and flat. And I'm going to grab one of my blocks over here. take off my tree and I'll show you how that works. So the first one you're going to want to do, you're going to want to put the detail side down. Yeah, Mom, I got to get a little Christmas going already, but their extra samples are not Christmas. But I'm working on craft fair season, so I'm very much into holiday mode on a lot of different things. Okay, so I'm going to take my Tahitian Tide and I'm going to go directly onto the solid part of the stamp. And because I'm going to use Tahitian Tide again, I'm going to stamp this off one time. Just remove some of the color. Then I'm going to go to my cardstock and press that down. And now you can see there's the solid part of that background image. I'm going to clean that off. Ooh, that was nice and squeaky. All right. Now, like I said, reversible. Now that doesn't mean it's going to line up perfectly because you have the mirror image. So you're going to get like now some of the longer part here is going to be over here, and that's okay. That's how they're designed to be. So it's not mirror image, or I should say it is mirror image. It's not perfectly line upable. That's going to be a word, right? We're going to call that a word. Okay. So now I'm going to basically aim for the tops to be about the same. And here I'm using my Tahitian Tide straight on. So see, now you get the effect of both colors. Your waterfall has background to it and a little bit of extra, like I said, a little bit of the extra part around. And every single one of these stamps in this stamp set works the same way. So these two pieces together are what made the canyon. And then it flipped it over to the other side and used the detail opposite because again, it's mirrored. One will fit this one will fit this one. Same thing with your rocky shoreline, your tree line, your trees themselves, the bridge, and I just showed you how to do the waterfall. So all of those will work the exact same way. It's double duty on your stamps, which is so fun. And just the concept of when they first came out with reversible stamps, I was like, reversible? What could that possibly even mean? But it does the backgrounds for you, which I think is just super cool. Okay, one last sample I have to show you is not part of this Perfect Partners bundle, but it is another bundle that is in our regular catalog, which I fell in love with, and those are the little elephants. He already comes with his own die set where you can die cut the elephants out, butterflies, peanuts, bows, grass, and balloons, and of course his little mouse friend. So there's some really cute elements of him, and here I took him and I turned him into a birthday card, and you can see here I have the phrase going over the top. So you can do anything you want to with this, wherever it fits is good. So I die cut some of the balloons out of designer series paper, colored in my mouse and my elephant with my blends. I know, Kathy Jo, the reversible stamps are so cool, aren't they? And then there's my inside. Again, I added a little extra layer. There's white also behind that, just like there's white behind this one here. So there's a little bit extra layering to this one, but same concept, cut out the notch, all that good stuff. Okay. So that was kind of a lot to take in, but I wanted to show those off to you guys because I just think they were so neat. And if you already have some of these sets, it might be worth it to you to grab that die set while you're doing it. So let me lay all of these out so you can see them again. Okay, so of course here's the one I just made on camera, and you can see how you can step these up in several different ways depending on where you place that tag image, what you add to the side. You can add a phrase, you can leave it blank, add paper, add other images. So much you can do with this, and then send that off to whoever is getting your gift card. Alrighty, I think that wraps it up for me tonight, guys. Any questions, leave them in the comments. Once you've got yours made, please feel free to share. Take a picture and load it up there so we can see what you use and see what you created with this layout. All right, guys. Oh, hi, Claire. Yes, Kathy Jo, and actually Tammy, who might still be on here. They are my cousins, and they did go to Slinger High School, so somehow you guys must know each other, I take it. I saw you comment that once before. All right, I'm going to let you guys chat amongst yourselves then, and you guys have a good rest of your Monday night, and I'll see you again next week. Bye!